Good morning, everyone. I'm about to send a message out on the Facebook group because I am having some major technical difficulties today, and my team is not here to support me because they're unavailable. So this is me being a victim for a second and asking for your grace, and I'm going to make a post right now. Hopefully you're able to see this on Facebook and YouTube. Let's see. What's up, Melissa? Hey, Melissa, can you support me by sending out a broadcast as well? And whoever is here, can you drop and tell me where are you watching from? Looks like you guys are watching from YouTube, which is great. Good morning, guys. Good morning, guys. Okay, I just sent out a broadcast as well. Thank you for your grace, you guys. What's going on, everyone? Happy Monday. I hope that your morning is off to a beautiful start. Lisa, Lee, Melissa, Simone, Jeanette, great to see you guys. And as much as I want to jump right into today's topic, I think what's more relevant right now is me sharing with you when having a human moment, how do I manage my emotions? Okay, so I'm going to share with you a story. And as I'm sharing with you a story, please engage with me in the chat and tell me what's coming up. And I'm going to coach you based on that rather than just talking about what I wanted to talk about, because I care about authenticity more than just show up perfectly. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, we're all real people. So I'll give you a quick backstory. And Erin and I had a very, very packed weekend where we're both completely we have overcommitted ourselves to a lot of big projects and priorities. And drop relate if you've ever found yourself at a point where you have just overcommitted to a lot of things. Now, the reality is that it's great because we're highly invested in our growth and development and, being your leaders in this mission and following a vision regardless of what obstacles come our way. Okay, cool. Glad that I'm not the only one in this. And I'll tell you, we've had a super packed couple of weeks, and normally Sundays are a day where we completely just unplug from everything intentionally. And as part of one of our big projects and commitments, we actually had a commitment yesterday, which it took the entire weekend. So I chose to give Erin space today and just lead everything. Okay, so like MDBS later on today, you're going to see that it's going to be just me. Erin recorded a special video for you. And I knew that Erin needed support in order to maintain her energy. And what I'm finding too, Monday is normally a really, really packed day for me, you guys. Like I have back to back. And then I have another priority tonight, but that's all story. That is me being a victim for a second and just talking to you guys. Now I found myself in a situation where I was running into a technical difficulty, and one of our teammates is in a meeting, and I don't know where Erin is. So I have like no way to find support. So I'm just over here like, I'll tell you what I felt at first. Okay. So when you feel like you're running on all cylinders. At first, I felt like a complete failure. Anyone else felt like a failure in the past? I mean, I think a bunch of us did, but I don't want to assume anything. So here's what comes up for me whenever I feel like a failure. Drop failure if you've ever felt like a failure, or maybe if this is something that hits home for you. Okay, cool. Glad I'm not the only one. So whenever I feel like I'm a failure, what comes up naturally for me, and I would love it if you could share with me too, what's coming up for you. Cool. I feel so relieved knowing that I'm not alone in this. So what came up for me was this story of you're not good enough. So I just wanted to cry with guilt and shame. Because I'm over here, I'm like, shoot, an email went out and all these people are waiting for me, and whoever I normally lean on is unavailable right now, and I'm trying to figure it out and I can't find the link, and I'm like, so I'm over here creating a story of people are thinking that you're unreliable, that you don't know what you're doing, and I just felt a lot of guilt and shame. And what I wanted to do within myself is I wanted to cry. I wanted to cry. I wanted to complain. And what I did know is that people were waiting on me and time was running out. By the way, if you're hearing snoring, it's because I got a very gentle man right here. Can you see him? So what I really wanted to do in my heart of hearts is I wanted to just stop and cry and really not show myself to you guys. I did not want to show my face to you guys. Anyone else like maybe struggles or finds themselves feeling challenged when they feel guilt or shame? Go ahead and drop me. I want to see you. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to feel my feelings and just forget about anything. And this is the moment when we want to quit. Yes, the devil comes in with an adversity, and then we tell ourselves the story of you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're unable to figure this out. And then really what I wanted to do in my heart of hearts is I wanted to just scream, moan, cry, snuggle with Boogie and say, fuck it. Fuck all of it. But you know what I did? I was like, you know what? For one, I can turn this into a fruitful conversation and maybe bring just relatability and a conversation into something that I believe is so real, that is the lowest frequency. Okay, so today's conversation was going to be about joy. And I came to you guys at a really, really low frequency because I wanted to feel sorry for myself. I wanted to justify all of the past trauma that I've ever experienced. And my default mode is just like, we all have that default mode. And you guys give me accountability to show up in a different way and reinvent myself. So here's what I want each and every one of you to know. At any given moment, you have a choice. Whether you're on a really good flow or whether you're not on a good flow. You have a choice on what you're going to do next. You have a choice on what you're choosing to think about. You have a choice on how you are choosing to show up. So this is about you. This is not about me. I just shared with you my human moment. I wanted to bust out in tears, but I didn't because you guys didn't have context. But now that I open up my heart to you, I feel healed. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Now, I want to support you guys through that. So when I felt that guilt and shame, first, I felt what I felt. That's my default mode. Then I recognize, okay, Sarit, you have a choice. What are you going to do next? You're either going to figure it out imperfectly, and hopefully they come. And if they don't come, then just cry on the screen. And so I could do that, or I could just choose to not show up. And here's the question that I asked myself, you guys. Based on my role, what choice will support me based on where it is that I want to go? I'll tell you guys, your trust in me really matters to me. I'll tell you why. Because I need you guys. I need you guys to be successful, and I need your guys' success to be a stand for what is possible in this world. Because by me just doing it by myself is not going to work. But when we come together and people are like, damn, Amanda, you look so great. What'd you do? And you're like, Erin and Sarit, they changed my life. They taught me how to take care of myself. Now we have an alliance. And regardless of where you're at, I consider you my ally. Okay, and that's why I'm opening up to you about these human moments. So we all have these times in our lives where we're feeling guilt, we're feeling shame because of some reason. Maybe, we walk to the gym and we thought that we're gonna have an incredible lift, and then something happened and our hamstring popped in the middle of a session, and we're feeling super embarrassed about it. Or you can maybe meal prep all weekend and something happens and you don't hear your alarm on a Monday morning and you forget to bring your lunch. Shit happens, yes? Drop a poop emoji or write shit happens if shit ever happened to you before. I know it did. So now, because this is not about me, this is about you, I want to teach you how to reinvent yourself when shit happens. Okay? You guys with me? I see those poop emojis. That's good. That's good. Shit happens. Yes. So good. Okay. So can we all be, I was super vulnerable with you guys today. Are you guys okay with being vulnerable with me as well, so I can support you on a deeper level? Drop a yes if you're okay with it. Because if you're not, it's not going to work. But if you are, then it's going to be transformative for maybe some of you guys. Okay, awesome. Love that. So I want you to think about the last time shit happened. Shit happened to you. When was it? What was happening? Okay, so I'm going to drop it in the chat. When? What was happening? And what did you do about it? When was it? What happened? And what did you do about it? Go ahead and drop it in the chat. Because I'm literally going to coach you guys in real time on how to reinvent yourself when shit happens. I was going to talk to you guys about 10 keys to cultivating happiness, but here's the deal, you guys. This is paramount, because when you can reinvent yourself when shit happens, you become happy. So we're actually going to take a deeper dive with one of these elements. I hope you're okay with it. Detour. Okay, so this is what Simone says. Simone says, I didn't pack my food for the day because I was at the end of my prep. I bought a salad at the cafe instead of eating takeout like everyone else. Well, that's awesome. But so when did that happen? And also, how did you feel? When did that happen, and how did you feel? Because it sounds to me like you reinvented yourself quite all right. Okay, Melissa says, this weekend had breaded mushrooms because I was hungry, got back on the wagon next meal. Okay, so because you were hungry, so you told me what happened, and what did you feel when you had these mushrooms? And it sounds like you reinvented yourself going towards the next meal. So how did you feel between that moment and when you had the next meal? I'd love to know. So remember, whenever shit happens to us, shit could be happening for us. Maybe one of you guys are going into a Monday morning feeling super guilty and shameful because maybe you feel like you effed up this weekend. Happens. And maybe you needed to hear this coaching in order to reinvent yourself and not mess up and not turn it into a effed up season. Did you guys know that between September and December, the average American gains 9 pounds? Why? Because people had a I effed up moment and they didn't choose to reinvent themselves. So knowing how to reinvent ourselves and the time frame within which we can reinvent ourselves is actually going to help us get closer to our goals. But no one ever talks about that. Why? Because it's not sexy. It's not sexy. It doesn't have to do anything with calories or macros or anything along these lines. So what I'm going to read your guys' comments in just a second, but what I want you to take away from this is that shit is going to happen. And when shit happens, your intention is to reinvent yourself, choose a new moment. And the less time it takes for you to go from default mode. This default mode is our victim, guilt, shame persona, which we all have that. You guys saw me in that at the beginning of the call, to our higher being, which is the being that is aligned with where it is that we want to go. The sooner you can close that gap, the sooner you're going to be on the path towards your goals. So I would say for me, it probably took me, 10 minutes? 10 minutes to reinvent myself. Within this video, maybe took me like 4 or 5 minutes, but you guys didn't see before the video. You know what I mean? Okay, so let me read your guys' comments. Thank you guys for being vulnerable with me today. Okay, so Jeanette said, I'm just gonna pull up your guys' comments. At work, I was blamed for an expensive mistake on a job. Oh God, okay. When we get blamed for someone, especially by our boss, I can only imagine that there comes with it a lot of guilt and shame. So then he said, I was not the one that made that mistake. I was pissed. What did I do? I stood up for myself and showed him where the mistake was. That's amazing. Great job. What was the resolution, Jeanette? I'd love to know. How did that conversation end? Okay, Melissa. Felt okay with it because it was better than the onion rings. I got better with getting back at it and didn't say fuck it for the day. Okay. So what I'm hearing you saying, Melissa, is that you feel good with it because your default would have been to continue to eat more junk food, and to continue the effort party for a longer period of time. Yes? If so, great. Ali, few weeks ago, soil pipe, laundry, main pipe blocked. Cost me over $2,000, which was my savings and some extra. Didn't have money to buy proper groceries. Had to eat craft food that I had. Oof. Yeah, that's a big deal. Okay, so hold on. You got more. And then you said, in my basement till I got paid, felt like crap for 2 weeks, had to make sure I had the meal and grocery list for payday to make sure I didn't continue with box mac and cheese and the like. Okay, so you guys, I'm going to give you a quick, clean meal that you can have on a budget if you ever run it yourself into a situation like that. Because I'll tell you for sure, you are paying the highest price when you go for food like McDonald's. It might be cheaper in a moment, but over time, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars. So if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, I came to this country as an immigrant. Okay, so I had to find a lot of ways I didn't want to compromise on my standards. And I had to find a lot of ways to get really resourceful on how to stretch my money. So here is what I would recommend for you guys to do. Number one, always have some kind of frozen protein in the freezer. It could either be pre-made or not. Like something that Erin and I do, because we overcommit to a lot of things, like I told you at the beginning of this call, is like, let's say if we have a weekend where we know we have a lot going on, or maybe we're going to a conference or something like that, we already have prepped protein. So all we do is we literally defrost it and it's all good. And here's something that I can tell you for sure. Protein that you make at home is going to be so much more affordable than protein that you get out. That's 100% true. So here's the deal. Something that you can do if you're like running into like a last minute situation of I want to solve this problem is you can either get yourself tuna cans, because that's incredible protein. And just, you can even eat it with salt and pepper. What I like to do is I like to add Greek yogurt, diced onions, diced cucumbers, and it's like the most incredible thing. I call it tuna salad. So you can feel free to take that. And so you can do that. Or what you can do is you can have a rotisserie chicken. And a rotisserie chicken, depending on how much protein you eat, can last you between 2 to 3 meals. So it's all good. It is what it is. We've all ran into situations like that. I know for sure. I know I have. And in the future, like, please, for all of you guys, don't blame. It comes down to this. It comes down to standards. Because when you are committed to your health goals, and Lee, I'm not saying that you're not. By the way, I feel like your name is not Lee, it's just your YouTube name. Can you drop your name in the chat? But what I want you guys to know is, do not let an adversity lower your standards. Okay, do not let an adversity. Okay, Ashley, awesome, cool. Do not let an adversity lower your standards. So what do I mean by that? Like, for example, today, the adversity that I had is I was having technical difficulties. I was not on time, and I did not have the right link that the email got sent to, so felt like a complete failure. My standard is to show up when people are expecting me to show up, regardless of how I feel. Even if that meant that I was going to cry to you guys for 30 minutes, which I won't, I would have shown up. Why? Because that's the standard. You know what I mean? What I want you guys to think about is, like, take a moment and write this down. What are your standards your standards will be determined by what I call your non-negotiables. Your standards are going to be determined by your non-negotiables. So I want to help you to get clear on your non-negotiables. For example, let's say you either, just like Ashley, you run into a pinch with, like crazy house payment or car payment or all those fun things that can happen every once in a while, and you got to shift things around for a certain period of time, whether it's with your groceries or your food. So I want you to write down real quick, when it comes to nutrition, what is one non-negotiable that you have? What is one non-negotiable? Ashley, thank you for inspiring a great conversation, by the way. And go ahead and drop it in the chat. So what is one nutritional non-negotiable that you have? I will tell you what is a nutritional non-negotiable that I have. Anything fried or anything junk food. And of course, I don't mean at home. I mean, even if I travel to Timbuktu, I remember Erin and I did a couple cross-country trips because we moved to the West Coast, we moved back to the East Coast. And like when you drive through literally a highway with maybe a town of 200 people, all that's around is on RVs. How was I able to still hit my non-negotiables? I found a grocery store nearby and I bought something odd, which was probably like an apple and a rotisserie chicken, and I ate it instead. So when it comes to your nutrition, I want you to think about what is a non-negotiable. Hey, Ashley, thank you so much for opening up and sharing. Well, that's why I'm supporting you. What is your nutritional non-negotiable? What is your nutritional non-negotiable? Having protein at least two to three times a day. Love that. That's clear. When you have clarity, you can lead something. Without clarity, it's really hard to lead something. There is a quote in the Bible that says, I think it's Solomon who said this, people will perish without a vision, right? So when you have clarity towards something, regardless of how small it is, okay, it's easy to lead it. That's why I like to get super specific with you guys, because specificity is simplicity. What is 1B? I need to have at least 1B. I don't know what that means. Actually, I want you to set one. Lisa, I will have protein with every meal, or is it to have protein with every meal? So I'm just giving you guys an example. This is with regards to your nutrition. Oh, got it. Okay. So let's move on to the next one. When it comes to your mindset, what is your non-negotiable? And do you even have one? Drop a yes or a no. Do you have one or do you not have one? And if you don't have one, then I want you to create one. Okay, so Ashley, what I'm hearing you say as far as a nutritional non-negotiable is to have greens with every meal. Love it. There's no right, no wrong. Just have a non-negotiable. Pick one. And the more disciplined you become, the more you're going to have non-negotiables. I'll tell you guys, I have plenty of non-negotiables. And when we get clear on our non-negotiables, I'll tell you, this making decisions gets easy. And it's important, especially when an adversity shows up. Because the more you have to think about something, the less likely you are to do it, right? Okay, so let me see. Barf. What's barf? What's barf? What does barf stand for? And did you create that acronym for barf? So I'll give you an example of a non-negotiable mindset tactic that I have. Okay, make sure to clear my mind before I do anything. So for me, a mindset one is to never go to bed upset or sad. I have a few, but that's one of them. How we end our day is very important. Okay. Let's do one more. And then we're going to wrap things up. So the next one is, what is your movement non-negotiable? Simone, we just talked about the nutrition ones. I gave you one. So one of them is no junk food or fried food. So what is your movement non-negotiable? 10,000 steps a day. Love it. Bam. Super clear. And Ashley, what has your level of consistency been on a scale of 1 to 10? 10 being super consistent, 1 being not at all. Amanda, 12,000 steps. Love that. Oh, okay. Barf. Breathe, acknowledge, redirect, and focus. Love it. 5 days a week in the gym. Love it. Workout 5 days a week. I love it. You guys seem to be very clear on your movement non-negotiables, which is fantastic. Beautiful. So today we talked about an essential ingredient to help you raise your level of joy. And that is how to hone in on the ability to reinvent yourself. Today's content was going to be a bit different, but you know what? I chose to shift gears, because what was relevant is to open up to you vulnerably and show you in real time how I reinvent myself. Because I think it's really important, especially in today's day and age, where it's really easy for us to be wrapped up in the not good enough. Go ahead and drop not good enough. If you feel like, if you run into feeling not good enough on, every now and then in today's social media AI world, where, every single person seems to have all their shit together. Let me tell you something, as your leader, when my shit is not together, you will see it. Why? Because number one, it's relatable. Number two, authenticity is key. One of the coolest things that Erin and I often hear on our live event, which normally happens at the end of the year. By the way, we have one coming up. Drop ES Live if you're coming to this year's ES Live, is that we are the same in person as we are online. And that is very rare. So my commitment to you is to always, always, always show you my true colors. Now, here's the deal. My intention is to teach you what I know from my own experience, so that you too can overcome your own adversity and reinvent yourself to become the person that you want to be. I don't care if anyone told you, ES Live, let's go, let's go, let's go. I don't care. I'm going to find a way to drop the link in the chat for anyone who wants to come to ES Live. If you haven't already committed to it, I'm going to find it. Or if anyone has the link handy, can you do me a favor and please drop it? Please drop it here, because I don't have that ready for you guys right now. But where was I going with this? I think I was talking about reinventing ourselves or authenticity. Maybe both. I don't remember what I was talking about. But I know. I remember now. You guys are just seeing me all of my imperfections today. This is great. So here's the deal. It is not about what you've been through. It's not about what doctors have said to you. Anything is possible if you set your mind to it, and if you surround yourself with the right group of people who can really show you how to do what they've done, and if you have a good attitude. Action, proximity, and attitude will allow you to reinvent yourself towards your goals, regardless of how many doors. Thank you, Brandy. I believe there's got to be an easier way, though. There's got to be an easier way. Or if you want more information about ES Live, just go ahead and drop info. I will find a way to reach out to you. Just drop info and I'll find a way to reach out to you. You guys are awesome. But what I want you guys to know is that there's always a way. You just have to be willing to overcome obstacles. Most people will want to quit. I didn't want to show up for you guys today. I didn't. But I chose to. Why? Because I'm more committed to my vision than I am to my emotions. So reinventing is possible for you. And the simplest way to reinvent yourself is to, number one, recognize that you have a choice. You have a choice. You can choose to wallow about it. And if you choose to wallow about it for another 30 minutes or 3 hours, that's fine. But just know that you have a choice that you can make and reinvent yourself. And then once you become aware that you have a choice and you reinvent yourself in a way that is in alignment towards your vision and where it is that you want to go, get very clear about your non-negotiables, because your non-negotiables determine your standards. My standard is to show up for you guys, even if it's imperfect, even if it's on a different link. Why? Because that was the intention. Focus 90% of your energy on your intention, 10% of your energy on the mechanics. You know what I mean? So intention over mechanics. And get super clear on your non-negotiables in all elements of life. So something that I get to reconsider, if you were here at the beginning of this call, you'll understand what I'm talking about because you heard the story. If not, listen back to the beginning. Is perhaps one of my non-negotiables is to not overextend myself and help support a teammate on a Sunday. Some of you guys have been through some of the private workshops that we've held from our leadership mastery program that we're a part of, and our teammates are doing that as well, and we want to support them. But what I realize is that doing it on a Saturday, doing it on a Sunday, supporting someone else because that's the date they chose, maybe doesn't allow me to be in generosity. So remember, every circumstance is an opportunity. It might not feel like it in the moment. I was chatting with a neighbor the other day. She's in the community. Deb, I don't know if you're here or if you're listening to this, but thanks, Simone. So she blew out her back the other day and she actually went to the hospital. and we were talking to her, and we were talking about lessons from God. And God sometimes gives us lessons that are painful. And just because it's painful does not mean that it does not have a purpose. So remember, reinvent yourself. Know that you have a choice to reinvent yourself. You have the strongest asset you could ever ask for, and that is your mind. The problem is that most people become liable to their mind versus turn their mind into an asset. So know that you have a choice. You have the power to choose. Choose to reinvent yourself whenever you want to, and get clear on your non-negotiables. All right, beautiful people. So that being said, our next espresso is going to be on Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Erin's going to be joining me on that one. And I truly hope that there will be no technical glitches on that one. We're not perfect, but we are passionate. There's no doubt about that. So my request of you is that if you found today's video beneficial, if it helped you to learn something new, and if it helped you to create a breakthrough, or maybe as I was sharing this, maybe you're thinking about someone, just do me a favor and share that with them, because the more we can support one another, and by that I mean you supporting your friends, you supporting your family members, the more we can make the world a better place. And ultimately, that's why I do what I do every single day. All right, beautiful people. I love you guys. MDBS peeps. I'll see you in the Q&A in just 4 minutes. And if anyone has any questions, or if you need any support with anything, whether it's with regards to reaching your goals or anything along these lines, feel free to just go ahead and email support@erinsarit.com. Ask your question or request whatever support you need, and we'll be sure to support you. All right, you guys, much love. I'll see you guys on Thursday. Or MDBS peeps, stay tuned. I'll see you in a couple minutes. Much love. Take care. Bye-bye.